if Hunter puts it together, he's
Yeah. I didn't finish about Hunter.
Hunter could shock the top three spots, in my opinion.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Hunter LeBron and him revealing his competition plans for the very first time for 2024. So there was a rumor out there that Hunter is gonna do a show in Italy, and a lot of people misunderstood which Italy show he's talking about.
This is gonna be the first time I've said them, but I'm gonna do Italy and the UK this year.
Italy and
the UK, yeah. Cool.
Because there is one coming up that is like 5 weeks away, where Nathan Yesha and Barros Tabani are competing, and the other show in Italy that is scheduled at the beginning of September. So roughly 4 weeks out of the Olympia this year, and that is the one Hunter is aiming for this year, as well as UK Pro that is scheduled just 1 week after that Italy show. So this clarifies everything, because people were so confused on how Hunter is gonna get stage ready in just 5 weeks time, and how he's gonna compete against guys like Nathan Yesha and Barros Tabani. So Hunter looked so good at this year's Pittsburgh Pro, one of the best out there. He impressed everyone, even his naysayers. But still, he was definitely not in a 5 weeks out condition. I mean, even the reigning Mr. Olympia Derek Lansford, who was the leanest guy on that stage after Nick Walker and Martin-Fitzwater, even he did not have a condition that looked like 5 weeks out. So considering Hunter's competition plans, this makes him roughly 16 weeks out of the show. And that is plenty of time for him to be absolutely shredded come showtime. And on top of that, get down in weight as slowly as he possibly can, because this is gonna be a big prep, and that is gonna help him hold on to all that additional muscle that he has packed on, especially after the Olympia last year. Because we just saw at this Pittsburgh Pro guest posing that he has put on a lot of additional muscle, and it isn't like he was just big. He was holding on to a great condition as well, the biggest and the leanest he has ever been. So the best Hunter that we saw throughout his career was Tampa Pro last year. That was absolutely the best conditioning of his life. And the plan for this year is to duplicate that same conditioning this year as well, with all that added muscle that he has now. So throughout this time, do you guys know who has been the biggest believer in Hunter's potential? That is none other than one of the greatest of all time, Jay Cutler. And once again, he gave a shout out to Hunter after that Pittsburgh Pro guest posing this past weekend. Because the sheer size that Hunter is carrying around this year, almost everybody sees that.
I didn't finish about Hunter.
Hunter could shock the top three spots, in my opinion.
I didn't finish about him. Okay.
But dude, he's 5'9".
Yeah.
I know he's close to the 300 range, and whether you think that looks good or not, but you got to look at the size. Even from the back, like the hamstrings,
he has the width.
He's improved now a lot. Yes.
And if he gets drier, if he gets in that truly next level of conditioning, I think he's gonna shock a lot of people this year, because the guy has very good flow. He really isn't missing anything. He's very complete. So it's safe to say that Hunter will be adding 2 additional pro wins to his resume, because I don't think out of the top 5 guys at the Olympia level, anyone can beat him. So it will be great to see him compete this close to Mr. Olympia, something that he has never done before. And that is one of the reasons why he had a 5 months of off-season, which really seems like can be the game changer for him. So we are just a couple of days out of one of the biggest shows of the year, the prestigious New York Pro. So Matt Jansen and his team, Nick Walker and Quinton Beast, would got together for a workout along with Matt Jansen. So Nick Walker winning this show, that isn't even a question, especially if we go by his track record. But this has to be one of the most important competition for Quinton Beast, because first of all, he is coming back to the stage after taking a very long off-season break. Plus the expectations set by himself. And I have to say, all of his stats, they are pretty high. And anything outside of the top 2, that is gonna be considered kind of a loss for Quinton, because he has been a pro since 2019. And if I'm not mistaken, this was the second time in his career that he took a very long off-season break. So there is just no way he is planning to take another year off after this. I am 100% sure this is the year Quinton wants to step on the Olympia stage and see how he does against the best of the best in the world. And honestly, he might be tired at this point of hearing this statement over and over again, that he has more potential than anyone in the men's open bodybuilding at the moment, but he needs more time. So I truly believe that if Quinton places in the second place here, I think that is gonna be a huge success for him, because there are some great competitors in this lineup. Guys like Tonio Burton, Martin-Fitzwater, Angel Calderon, Justin Rodriguez. So even placing top 2 is gonna be a big deal. So talking about Tonio Burton, The plan set by his coach is the same as they had for the Arnold Classic South America. Bring him in as shredded and as detailed as they possibly can. And I really think that is the safest bet here. I really hope that his coach is able to bring his body back to life during that carb loading process. And he doesn't lose his trademark roundness and the 3D looking muscle bellies that allows him to look so bubbly on the stage, which allows him to stand out, and exactly what makes him so unique. So Tonio is one of those guys who has super thin skin, which allows him to showcase more separation and more detail. And we all know that skin texture is mostly a genetic thing. Some guys in the Ivy Pro League, even some of the top guys, they just cannot get that look no matter how hard they diet, and no matter how long they diet. A really good example that comes to mind was Lionel Bayeki, who was blessed with one of the most insane genetics during his time, and also one of the most amazing aesthetics. But it was kinda unfortunate for him that he did not have that super thin skin, or in the bodybuilding terms, he had what we call the elephant skin. So Lionel went throughout his career without winning a single major title, and that is really a shocker, especially if we look back at his genetics. Now Tonio Burton, on the other hand, is a great example of an athlete who has super thin skin. Plus, another example that weight really doesn't mean anything. So do you guys think Tonio isn't getting the respect that he deserves, especially going into this year's New York Pro? Because after all, he is the defending champion, as well as a top 8 guy in the world. He was able to beat so many guys who were so bigger than him. And even at this past Arnold Classic Brazil, a lot of people had him winning over Rafael Brandao. Martin-Fitzwater has really nothing to lose here at the New York Pro. But the man is bringing all the fire to the show. I guess the feedback that he got from all the bodybuilding community, especially after this Pittsburgh Pro guest posing, that really fired him up even more than before. So there is a high likelihood that Martin is probably gonna be even better than what he looked like at Detroit Pro just 4 weeks back, where he was able to beat a very great good Vito. So Martin just went through a brutal depletion workout. And that was actually with his friend Urs yesterday. And now the carb loading process has begun. So a little perspective on how good Martin-Fitzwater really is. So 2 years ago at Texas Pro 2022, he was able to beat Quinton Beast, Steve Koglo, as well as Kamal, to place runner-up just behind Andrew Jacked. Even that fight between him and Andrew Jacked, that was actually really close. And we have to keep in mind, that was actually a smaller, less muscular version of Martin. And when he says he will be fighting for the top spot here at the New York Pro, he has got the stats to back it up. So Martin is another one of those guys who really isn't missing any body parts. I don't think he has got a weak shot. The only disadvantage that Martin has over some of these other top guys is probably the height. And the reason I'm saying that is because if a guy like Quinton Beast, if he is truly on, it will be difficult to stand next to him because of his frame, his width, and his insane aesthetics. Talk about sticking to your strengths. Look at the physique update of Emir, who is peeled out of his mind. So this is such a deep lineup at the New York Pro that he just did not get a lot of media coverage. And if we are being 100% real, this is gonna be a tough show for Emir. Now, you can clearly make a case for Emir as one of the most shredded guy at this upcoming New York Pro. But here is the thing, conditioning alone, that just won't win you shows. Otherwise, a guy like Andre Munzer, he would have had a better competition record. So the downside for Emir is the size of his quads, especially from the front. This is what hurts him the most, especially when he is standing next to those guys who are just as big as him in the upper half, but they also have bigger quads. But I expect him to be bigger this time as well, as he took a very long offseason too. I believe he placed second against Roman first at the Big Man weekend, and that was actually a very close show. And if I'm not mistaken, he did not do any show afterwards. So at the age of 24, the kind of physique that he has, already so developed, this guy is gonna get a lot of attention in the future. He just needs more time to put on more muscle, more mass on his frame. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.